Hello again. As you can see, my tire looks a little different than it did before. Well, I worked on its shape a bit, so now it's bigger and heavier. I think this tire fits the car from the 60s a bit, because as you can see I added a white stripe, which is a characteristic for the old cars. It's made by a material that has two different IDs, so I had to divide the polygons on the tire with two groups. As you can see, the white one has got ID set on 2, and the black one has got an ID of 1. And when I change it to 2, it automatically changes the color. It's because of the material I created. Just look. I set the ID to 2. First is for the gray material, and second is for the white color. So thanks to this, I can simply control this white stripe without mapping my tire. Okay, enough about the tire. Let's get back to the main subject of this chapter, the wheels. Here you can see a fast-made wheel model that I did. It's very simple, but thanks to this, it's perfect for this lesson. We can say that the wheel is created from one segment that is rotated a few times, so we only have to create one single segment. Here you can see the segment which was the basis for my wheel. First I created the correct shape of it, and next I added all the details. After this I rotated its copies and connected them into one piece, but I'll show you how to do this. You can start working from a cylinder, but I usually create an n-gon object. Okay, this time its side value is set on 40. It's because we've got 5 main segments of our wheel, and each segment will be divided into 8 parts, so the sum gives us 40. The first thing we have to make after converting the object to poly is to cut our single segment out. So as you can see, I marked 1/5 of this circle using the cut tool. So now, I just have to delete all the vertexes outside of my new segment. This way, I'm perfectly sure that this object is exactly 1/5 of the circle. Now I have to create more segments in this object. First, some vertical segments. Every line will start from the vertex on the rim of the circle, and end in the center of the circle. So as I said before, every segment will be divided into 8 parts. Okay. And now some horizontal lines. I think the perfect value will be probably about 4. Alright, now my object is divided into many small equal segments, so I can easily edit its shape as I want. For example, I can delete those selected polygons. I can now easily create a basic shape for the wheel arm. Of course, now we will have a lot of work with editing this simple object to gain the correct shape for the wheel. You can do everything except move the vertex on the rim of our object, because there will be a problem with connecting copied segments into one wheel. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to copy our segment and connect new ones into one part. We'll use the array tool, which allows us to copy objects repeatedly with moving them, rotating, or scaling at the same time. How does this work? Well, when we want to rotate new copies, we have to choose the correct axis for rotation. In our case, it will be the z-axis. Next, we have to choose the rotation angle and type it in the correct field. Just divide 360 by the number of segments and you will obtain the correct value. Next, we have to choose the type of copied object, typical, instance, or reference. At least we have to set the correct number of copied objects. And that's all. As you can see, we created all the copies automatically. Now we just have to attach them to each other, so we will have one wheel based on 5 segments. Of course, remember to weld all the vertexes, because the attach tool does not connect them. I think that these are all the steps to wheel building you need to know. Now, maybe I'll show you how to position your rim with the tire. To place it exactly in the center of the tire, I will use the transform window. I copy the values of the X and Y axis for the tire, and then I paste them into the rim table. Thanks to this, I positioned the rim pivot exactly in the same place as the tire pivot, so the centers of both objects are in the same place. And the last one. Perfect. Now, that looks good. I think that is all for now. Of course, my wheel was quite simple, but I always use this technical method to model my tires and rims, so I'm perfectly sure that you can create complex models using this way. The best part is that we only work with one segment, which is copied next, giving us little work than trying to model the whole wheel. Because we created our segment using the n-gon object, we were perfectly sure that this was equal, so there were no problems with connecting them into one piece. So now that we've got the wheels on our car, the chassis is needed. So next, we will meet in the next chapter, where I will show you how to create that fast.